Hi everyone, if you don't already know, I'm Brian, captain of the USS Ranger Club for the last year or so. And if you didn't know, there happened to be an event the weekend that took place called Destination Star Trek. You may have heard of it, some of you. All our photos from the event are now uploaded, and rather than write an extensive post to everybody, I thought I'd just sort of pick up the camera and say thank you to everybody who attended in person. I'd like to start with the crew that attended the event, starting with Glyn, who attended every day and on Saturday took on the role of Jabel, our Starfleet Klingon. You may have seen her before, but if you haven't, go check out our YouTube where you can see Glyn as Jabel in a 2009, I think, a sort of interview on Richard and Judy's show back in the day when the first Calvin Timeline film came out. If you haven't seen that, you ought to give it a go. Next, the man of many faces, you may know him, is Lee, sort of our resident sort of cosplayer. He attended the event on Friday in his full Starfleet uniform, which he made himself from scratch. So that's quite an impressive thing. But Saturday, I'm sure you would have seen him around in full Klingon gear, and we were feeling a bit worse for wear. He sort of settled for a subdue Vulcan on the Sunday, I think, while he was hanging a little bit from the night before. Then there's Sadiq, resident Star Wars fan, which I called him for most of the weekend, who didn't need much to coax into joining the event panel, but he's helped organise the last 3 events when we've appeared there in Birmingham. And also our resident photographer. So all our photos from the event have all been uploaded. A few more thanks coming for those, but all the ones taken by our crew on there, Sadiq would have been the guy who was out with the camera. Next, there's our Saturday helpers. So you got Richard and Adrian, took the time out from their busy schedules to come down and put a face on the stand. It was good to see you guys, especially Adrian. We haven't seen him for a while. He took part in all our COVID Facebook meetings. So it was good to actually see him in person and back with the Ranger. It was great to welcome Star Trek fans from all over the world, not just local. We had people attend the stand who were from Alaska. That was probably some distance travel, but a bit close to home, like Austria and Spain. After that, you've got all the people who came and visited us on the stand. I've got a whole list of people here, so sorry if I forget anyone, but I'm just going to read through it and get those names out there. Obviously, we've got a friend of the club, Cheryl Nicholson. She was a star, making us all smile. It was great to see you again. You got Mike Overton from the Clone Star podcast, and the LCARS workshop. Any LCARS geeks like myself watching, go check out his stuff. Like I said, just give a search for the LCARS workshop. Next, not forgetting Charlie on the Bridge, who gave us a little bit of Instagram exposure, as it were, over the weekend. I know he's got a lot of videos and content on there from the weekend, from everyone who attended the event. Go check his stuff out. Next, Simon and Chris from the Prop Shed. Go check them out on Instagram. They loaned us all their tricorders and phasers. A lot of you love playing with them. If you love them, like I say, go check them out on Instagram. It's the prop_shed, I believe. But I'm sure if you just search Prop Shed, you should get them up on there. Then the contingency from the USS Cullen. I hope I'm saying that right. It was great to meet you guys. I personally haven't met a lot of you, but you just kept coming all weekend, to say hi. It was much appreciated. And all the other groups from SFI. And then of course you've got Maggie Edwards, our friend from the official Leonard Nimoy fan club. They've been friends of the Ranger now well back into our mid-fleet days, back in today. So it was great to catch up, introduce myself, and of course see you again. You got the guys at the Trek Time podcast. They gave us a mention the other day, so thanks a lot, guys. We're hoping to see some of you at the meeting soon, I hope. our convention neighbours at SM Artworks. Go check them out, their website, sm-artworks.co.uk. Excellent selection of sci-fi artwork from anything from Star Trek, of course, to The Walking Dead. Go check their stuff out, it's brilliant. If you didn't see it there, head to the website, definitely. Then you've got my queuing buddies, which we'll call them, sort of like the 1 or 2 times I did leave our stand to go get the odd autograph for myself. Scott, if you're watching, sort of give us a like and a follow. It'd be good to catch up with you again sometime. And of course Sarah, which sort of leads me on to my next bit, my next thank yous really. Sarah Drummond, you would have seen her as the Orions, who I coerced along with a lot of other people to give an interview to our friends over at Technobabble. If you don't already, head over to Technobabble 1701 for their interview with some of you guys that attended the event. I've got a whole list of people who I coerced into interviews with them. So, as I mentioned, Sarah Drummond, obviously the best sort of like Orions and Vulcans who were there at the show. Definitely some of the best cosplay. Ruth Winsper, you'll all know her best as Captain Janeway, thanks a lot. You've got our very own Lee Bradley, of course. His interview's coming up soon on their channel, so go check it out. And Sven from the SFI Space Stop Birmingham, make sure I get that right, who I'll circle back to later. But if you don't know Technobabble, definitely go give them a look up on YouTube. And hopefully the videos from the event will be online this weekend. Next, you've got to say thank you to all the staff at Destination Trek. A lot of them were volunteers, and it's interesting sort of to talk to some of them while we're in the queues and just get their general feel for what's going on. A lot of them aren't Star Trek fans, so sort of like they get involved with all the Showmasters events. So I'm sure you'll see them up and down the country if you do. Then of course you've got Showmasters themselves. Thanks to Zoe Finch, it was great to meet you in person, put a face to the name, for sorting us out and getting us a space at the event. And of course Jason Joyner, who at Showmasters, who put on the event and helping our friends over at Technobabble. They're very grateful for all his help. And finally, sort of like the biggest thank you really for the Ranger has to go to David Zabala. For all his help, obviously Nag and Zoe, who I mentioned earlier, and getting us sort of into Destination Trek, and if it wasn't for his persistence, we wouldn't have been exhibiting. So thanks a lot, much appreciated, and it'd be good to see the guys from SFI Space Dock Birmingham at a meet again soon. I believe our next one is the 1st of September. We meet the first Friday of every month. Come join us. We're in a private function room at the Netherton Conservative Club. Obviously in Netherton, over in Dudley, the Black Country. Come visit us. We really look forward to seeing you. If you're ever down this way for a con in the future, if it happens to fall that weekend, come look us up. And it'd be just a safe space to be, just to sort of prep you for the weekend ahead. If you've made it this far, thanks for listening to me just babble on and just show appreciation to all you guys out there who make sort of like the Trek fandom feel like a good community to be part of, and hopefully we'll get to see you at the Ranger soon, and if not, another con. However, live long and prosper.